Dear learners, welcome to NI Studio. We will discuss about the topic problems of scheduled tribes and scheduled caste from our sociology study book. And I think earlier we have discussed about much about what is Indian society and what are the tribal society, rural society and urban society. Throughout our discussion, we discussed about what are the characteristics of scheduled tribes, what are the some of the problems I have also discussed in the last sessions. Today we will discuss about specifically what are the problems of scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, and what are the solutions like. So, we will discuss this one by one. As you all know that in Indian society we have number of communities, we have other backward classes, we have tribes, we have various castes, we have also different varnas. So, and every caste and communities have their own distinct features. Today we will discuss about what are the problems of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. As you know, in Indian caste system we have four varnas. One is Brahmin, one is Kshatriya, one is Vaishya, and then another is Shudra. Apart from that, there is also another untouchable caste which are not in the caste hierarchy. They are considered as the ritually lower than other group of population. So, let us discuss what is the term scheduled caste. It was first used by the Simon Commission and then Government of India Act 1935, and when India became independent, this term was adopted by Constitution of India for the purpose of providing them some special facilities and the constitutional guarantees. If we talk about scheduled caste, they do not constitute a homogeneous group. They are internally differentiated in terms of occupation, numerical segregated, and the criteria of untouchability. If we will go by nomenclature, you will find that if we talk about Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, he termed as Harijans, which is called children of God. An aggregate of castes which may differ from each other and which have been reduced to the lowest ritual and social status in the caste hierarchy. If we talk about Ambedkar, who drafted the Constitution of India, he is the staunch advocate for which we have so many legislations and rules and regulations, and for the not only for the scheduled caste but also for the other backward classes and also for the other weaker section of society. He used the term depressed classes or caste or classes, and it refers to those classes of categories or people who are poor, exploited, and socially, ritually, or religiously degraded. They were treated as pariah or socially defiled. Now, if we talk about different movements, you will find that now scheduled castes themselves want to identify themselves as Dalit. So, therefore, you might have find that throughout years we have several movements, Dalit movements such happened, and now they are fighting for their own identity, and also and they want that more and more rules and regulations has to be there so that it can protect their social and economic identity and also disabilities. It can give more and more social justice to them. If we talk about the composition of scheduled caste, there are altogether 1241 groups throughout the current as per the census of India 2011, and they constitute, if we talk about the composition of scheduled caste population, you will find that about 72% of rural scheduled caste population reside in the 7 states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. If we talk about population growth rate of scheduled caste, you will find that it is less than the overall growth rate by about 2 percentage point than the other group of population, and when you talk about overall growth rate of population in India. If we talk about the population of scheduled caste as per 2011 census, in 2001 their population was 166.6 million, which has increased to 201.4 million in 2011 census. So, there is a variation of 20.8% addition between this 10 years gap. If we talk about female population, it was 80.5 million in 2001 and which has increased to 97.9 million in 2011 census. There is addition of 21.5 5% between these 10 years between 2001 and 2011 census. If we talk about proportion of scheduled caste population to the entire population of India, it was 16.2% in 2001, which has increased to 16.6% in 2011. If we talk about the states ranked by proportion of scheduled caste population to total population, it is Punjab has the highest number of scheduled caste population. They constitute 31.9% of total population of Punjab. Similarly, 25.2% in Himachal Pradesh and 23.5% West Bengal. And if we talk about bottom 5 states, Mizoram has only 0.1% population, those who are scheduled caste. Similarly, Meghalaya has 0.6% population. So, if we talk about the bottom 5 states, you will find that they have, because they have more population of scheduled tribe population. So, the population is less in case of Mizoram, Meghalaya, Goa, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu. Now, we will discuss about what are the problems being faced by scheduled caste populations. You will find that no doubt there are so many legislations that says that untouchability practice is punishable, and also still you will find that in many parts of India you will find that still the population those who belong to scheduled caste, they face number of challenges. They are not allowed to participate in village meeting and village worship. Although government has provided many common wells and tanks in different parts of rural and urban India, still they are not allowed to use the common wells and tanks. Similarly, they are also they are not able to access many services like haircut, laundry and so on. No doubt throughout years we have so much legislation that has come into practice, but social acceptance still is a major challenge in case of rural areas. Similarly, even they do not have the priest who can perform the rituals of the scheduled caste. Similarly, if we talk about distribution of food or exchange of food, normally we will go to rural area, you will find that people those who are in the neighborhood, they share the food, they share the day to day lifestyle with the neighbors. But if you go to the rural area, you will find still people do not exchange the food with the scheduled caste population, even they do not take cooked food from them because of due to purity and pollution concept. Because in rural India still people feel that the scheduled caste population, they practice the kind of occupation which is not acceptable, like they do the cleaning activities, they do other kind of activities. So, therefore, since the purity and pollution concept is attached there, so people normally do not accept the cooked food from this group of population. But now, if you go to the rural area, you will find that the practice has already changed. If you will ask your elder members in your family, like what was the practice in 20 years back or 30 years back, they will say that lot of changes has happened. Because some of the scheduled caste population have also got good jobs, they are in good occupations. So, therefore, if you compare the kind of practices of untouchability that was existed in 20 years back and now, you will find lot of difference because of education, because of acceptability, because of number of regions. Now, let us discuss what is poverty and what kind of problems being faced by scheduled caste population in the both in rural and urban areas. If we talk about that, you will find that scheduled caste population are not allowed to participate in the village meeting and worship. If we talk about poverty, there are many database that says that even the economical standard of scheduled caste population has increased throughout years, but still there are number of gaps between scheduled caste and total overall population in the both in urban area and rural area. If we talk about 2004 and 5 data, we will find that there are 52.7% of rural scheduled caste populations, they are in the below poverty line, while it is 33.8 in case of overall population, those who are in the below poverty line. Similarly, if we will talk about urban scheduled caste population, it was 20.9 in case of uh, general group population, but it is double in case of scheduled caste population, that is 40.0. And similarly, if you look at 2011-12 data, it is 31.5, while it is 24.4% for the overall group population. So, you can find there is a gap of 6% still between scheduled caste and total group of population in India in case of rural areas. So, why the uh, the poverty backwardness is still more in case of scheduled caste population than the overall group population? One is lack of education, because more you have the higher education, more the chances of employment is there. But since scheduled caste populations are their literacy rate, their education status is still low, but they are not able to get adequate employment, whether in the government offices or in the private offices. Similarly, if we look at the database, we will find that scheduled caste population, either they have less land or they do not have land at all. So, if they do not have land, so they are not able to uh, occupied themselves in the agriculture. So, they either they do work as a casual laborer or they work as in different kind of activities, like uh, to support the jamindars, or to the support other group of population in the rural areas, or they also migrate to urban areas. So, when they migrate to urban areas, what kind of provisions, what kind of opportunities being provided by the government is not, they are not able to access it, because they have already migrated from their own areas. So, we can find that migration is also one cause of poverty, and similarly in rural areas the job opportunities are also less. So, and even the job, if the job are there, so the job are given to other caste population than the scheduled caste population. So, therefore, you will find that no doubt government has done a lot of things to eradicate poverty among scheduled caste population, as it has been done for rural group of population, but still poverty is high in case of scheduled caste population. And if we talk about education literacy, we will find that it is also very low in case of scheduled caste population. If you look at 1961 census, you will find that there was only 8.89% of population from scheduled caste, they are literate. But now in 2011 census, there are 62.8% of population, they are literate. So, if you look at the database, no doubt in last 50 years the literacy rate has increased from 8.89% to 62.8%. The achievement is more than 54%. But if we compare the scheduled caste population along with the general group population, the gap is more. And if we talk about the female scheduled caste population and the literacy rate of female group, those who belong to the other group population, it is like the literacy rate, the gap is much more. Because as I told you earlier, the female literacy is an indicator of development, and in a particular household, if we'll have more educated women, they contribute more to the economy and also the social prosperity. But since in case of scheduled caste population, the female literacy is also low, so therefore you will find that the economy, the education of the future generation is also very low. And if we talk about dropout rate, no doubt because government provides lot of opportunities for education of scheduled caste population and also the other group of population, no doubt they got enrolled themselves, the parents enroll their child in the school, but since there are number of pull and push factor, like uh, cost of education, like there also parents also need their child to help them in different kind of agriculture and other kind of activities, so that they support their income. So, dropout rate is also very high. If you look at secondary education, you will find that 62.8% dropout between class 1 to 10. Like 62% of child they enroll in class 1, but they are not able to pass class X examination. So, therefore, 62.8% got drop out, but if you look at the overall group population, the dropout is also very less. And since they get dropout, so they are not able to get adequate income, they don't get their health and nutrition status is low, because more you got educated, more you got income, more you also get the facilities in the health and nutrition also. So, therefore, you will find that and why the dropout is more. On the one hand, there is social stigma, because the teachers, those who got appointed in the schools, and they are mostly from the upper caste. So, the studies reveal that the teachers, those who are from upper caste, they don't treat these children in a proper manner, they don't educate. So, sometimes you will find that there are also practices of untouchability in case of midday meals. So, because because of this kind of untouchability practices in the school, so they don't, this group of child don't feel comfortable in the classroom situation. So, they after some time they also got drop out. Similarly, because the parents were not able to provide adequate educational support to this group of students, so they also got drop out, because on the one hand the parents need the children that they support in different kind of occupation in agriculture, in casual labor, and in daily wages. So, the parents pull the child from the school and they encourage them to participate in the economic activities. So, therefore, also even the government provides so much opportunities, the children are not able to get benefit out of it. Similarly, when the parents are less educated, they are not also able to provide educational support to their children. Neither they are able to help them in the guiding them in doing the homework, neither they are able to participate in the school management activities, and even they are not able to find out what will be the outcome of education in future, because they feel that if since our children are not getting adequate opportunity, even they continue school education, after some years they may not get employment, because they find the other group of children are getting better facilities. They are being trained in the convent school, so-called private schools, where they feel that English education is provided. So, when they think about, when they perceive that what will be the outcome of education, they feel that their child may not be able to get adequate income in future. So, therefore, they also encourage that their children, instead of attending school, they attend the workforce, they attend the different kind of job avenues. So, therefore, you find that the dropout rate is much more higher in case of scheduled caste population in both rural India and also the urban India. Now, we can discuss what are the employment and government services and what are their opportunities, whether the scheduled caste population have higher share of employment and government services or not. If we will talk about, if we will analyze the kind of employment and government services by the scheduled caste population, you will find that no doubt the government has a system of reservation policies where there are certain number of seats are being reserved in the both in the government jobs and also in the education system. But if we will have a analysis of what kind of occupations in which the scheduled caste population engaged, you will find that still there are a very less number of scheduled caste population are in the government job. And even if they are in the government job, like if we will go to the central government job, there are many positions that are still unfilled. If you go to the university, the seats are still unfilled. And similarly, if you look at the state-wise variation, there may be some states where you will find that the central government jobs are being occupied by some scheduled caste belonging to some states than the other states. So, therefore, you will find that majority of scheduled caste are still survive as agricultural laborers, where they are exploited in the payment of wages, and their share in case of government job and private job is very less. And even if they are engaged in different kind of jobs like cleaning occupations, sweeping occupations, so like that. But throughout years, you will find that due to education system being very supportive and the government policies are also being supportive, scheduled castes are now in different occupation. They are also lecturers, they are also civil servants, but their share of population is very less compared to other group of population. If we talk about database, the unemployment rate of among scheduled caste rose marginally to 6.4% in 2018-19 from 16.3% in 2017-18. But still, if you look at the data, it is like still less. And now we can discuss what are the problems of health and nutrition being faced by this group of population. No doubt, government has come up with housing facilities for prioritizing to the deprived groups like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women, and other backward class population. But if we look at the housing facilities, it is still very low in case of scheduled caste population. If you can visit to the these households, you will find that on the one hand, these hamlets are being are not mostly not in the proper village. So, they are out of villages, or so since they do not have proper housing facilities and also toilet facilities, so uh, the kind of cleaning environment are not found mostly. No doubt, government has come with the Swachhata Abhijan, where the government is emphasizing the more and more cleanliness, sanitization facilities should be there. But if you go to the hamlets of scheduled caste population, you will find that they still don't have proper housing facilities and toilet facilities. So, therefore, the health so therefore, the illness is more in case of this group population. And similarly, because of poverty, scheduled caste population often become victims of malnutrition and undernourishment. And on the one hand, they don't have adequate income so that they can provide nourished, they can provide the food with proper nutrition and vitamins to their children. Other hand, even they go to the hospitals, they also face the cases of atrocities, and even the doctors are not attending them in a proper manner. So, therefore, you will find that the problem of health and nutrition, even in case of even we are in the 21st century, the case of the ill health and malnutrition also much more found in case of these group population. Similarly, due to the female members they are also not able to get proper knowledge of nutrition, the proper knowledge of nourishment. So, on the one hand, the poverty is the one factor which leads to malnutrition and undernourishment. On the other hand, lack of awareness, lack of health knowledge, that also is a major reason for which the problems of health and nutrition is found in a large scale among scheduled caste and scheduled tribe population. That we will discuss later, how scheduled tribes also face the issues of health and nutrition in their own areas. Similarly, as we talked about education, health, and also so they also face the problem of landlessness. No doubt, if you will find the database, the government has the mechanism where the government says that every scheduled caste or scheduled tribe population should have access to land. But due to many faulty policies, they are not able to get adequate access to this land. And similar, on the other hand, even they have the land because they also spend their wealth in terms of different rituals, different festivals, and sometimes due to dowry also, they also sell their lands. And once they sell their lands, so they become landlessness, and on the other hand, even they don't have adequate income to have this kind of land. But throughout years, government has come with so much policies and programs where addressing the landlessness, addressing housing facilities are also being in process. Now, we can discuss about Untouchability Offenses Act 1955. As you know, the Constitution of India, Article 17 of Constitution of India declares that abolition of untouchability in both letter and spirit. The Untouchability Offenses Act 1955 declares untouchability as an offence, and this act was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 8th May 1955 and passed in the both houses. If you look at the amendment, it has also been amended in September 2nd, 1976. What Untouchability Offenses Act 1955 says about? This act has banned the practices of untouchability in the matters of employment, drinking water supply, offering worship services in tea shop, hotels, journeys by bus or train, use of public places, meeting of gram panchayat, refusing to sell goods or rendering services, and admission in hospitals. Uh, Directly or indirectly, it says that the scheduled caste population should be given opportunity to participate in both social and economic affairs of the state, so that they feel that they are the part of society, they are the part of the society where they should also get their share of opportunity. They also get the share of respect from each and every member of society. And this act also made the practice of untouchability punishable in the form of fine and punishment. So, if any individual, whether they are in the government setup or in the private setup or in any public places, if they are involved in the offences, so they might have to they are punished in the form of fine and punishment. So, these are the Untouchability Offenses Act 1955, which talks about in detail that no one whether they are in the government service, private services or in the public places, they should not indulge in such kind of evil practices. So, till now we have discussed about what is scheduled caste, what are the problems being faced by this group of population in terms of education, health, poverty, and what are the features of landlessness found among these group of population. We have also discussed about how the problem of health and nutrition are being faced by this group of population also. And we have also discussed about what are the Untouchability Offenses Act 1955 talks about, which talks about how it has banned the practices of untouchability in the matters of employment, drinking water supply, offering worship services in tea shop, hotels, journeys by bus, train, use of public spaces, meeting of gram panchayat, refusing to sell goods or rendering services, and admission in hospitals. So, by coming with many legal provisions in the government of by the government of India, the government of India always tries to provide just social justice and empowerment. If you look at the different schemes and programs, you will find that government has always had the provision for the deprived group of population like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes section society. Even we have also a particular minister of social justice and ministry and particular department for the welfare of scheduled tribes, scheduled caste also. So, dear learners, till now I have discussed about the problems of scheduled caste, and afterwards we will come with discussion on problems being faced by scheduled tribes. Thank you.
कोविड-19 यानी कोरोना वायरस देश एवं संपूर्ण विश्व में व्याप्त विषाणु जन्य समस्या। लाखों लोग इस संक्रमण की चपेट में। इसका निदान है जागरूकता के साथ हम और आप स्वयं। कोरोना वायरस के इस संक्रमण से संपूर्ण भारतवर्ष भी एक विकट स्वास्थ्य की परिस्थितियों से जूझ रहा है। भारत सरकार द्वारा गांवों से शहरों तक व्यापक जांच, उपचार और विभिन्न नैदानिक व्यवस्थाएं की गई हैं, लेकिन अभी हमें करना है इससे बचाव। बचाव है आपस में 2 गज की दूरी रखें, मास्क जरूर लगाएं, हाथों को बार-बार साबुन से धोएं और हाँ, आरोग्य सेतु ऐप पर लॉगिन अवश्य करें। घर पर रहें और NIOS की स्व अध्ययन सामग्री से पढ़ते रहें। आपके लिए PM ई-विद्या पर टीवी, रेडियो वाहिनी और मुक्त विद्या वाणी पर ऑडियो कार्यक्रमों का प्रसारण भी NIOS द्वारा किया जा रहा है। आपसे एक ही अनुरोध है, जब भी छींकें, मुंह और नाक को ढकना ना भूलें। भीड़ भाड़ में जाने से बचें और सामाजिक दूरी का पालन करें। और एक बात, जब तक वैक्सीन नहीं आती, तब तक मास्क को ही वैक्सीन समझें। साफ रहें, स्वच्छ रहें और स्वस्थ रहें। 2 गज दूरी, मास्क है जरूरी। किसी भी आपदा की स्थिति में संपर्क करें टोल फ्री नंबर 1075 011 2397 8046। ईमेल करें ncov 2019@gov.in.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर। शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने,
Dear learners, welcome again to NS Studio. We'll discuss about the topic problems of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. In the first part, we have discussed about the problems of scheduled caste. Now discuss about the problems of scheduled tribes. First, we'll discuss what is scheduled tribes. If we'll talk about tribes, they are the social group with territorial affiliations, endogamish in nature, and with no specialization or functions, characterized by political sovereignty and self-determination, having control over own resources at the level of individual and the community, sharing the same culture, ethnic identity, history, future aspirations, and where the members have a sense of belongingness to a common stock, which Ralph Linton called as a spirit de corps. So, when you talk about scheduled tribes, they are the social group who have the distinct culture, distinct identity, distinct uh, uh, future aspirations. And they, if we will talk about scheduled tribes, they are also not the homogeneous. If we will talk about throughout India, if the tribes, those who are living in the Himalayan region are different, those who are living in Odisha and Bihar. And similarly, there are also tribes, they are also at the different level of economy. If we will talk about tribes in Odisha, they have different kind of livelihood style than the tribes those who located in the other parts of India. So when you talk about characteristics of tribal society that we have earlier discussed, like they have the well demarcated geographical territory. Like in Odisha, they have the territory is different. The tribes those who located in the Himalayan region, Meghalaya and Manipur, they have the distinct geographical territory. Similarly, they live in the forest and hill areas. They are the relatively isolated community. They have their own culture, folklore, and cosmology. They have the self-sufficient economy. They have their own family and kinship ties, and they have the strong ethnic identity that we have discussed in the last session. If we talk about how scheduled tribes are in different census, in 1901 census they are being characterized as people who practiced animism, and in 1951 it says as tribes are scheduled tribes. If we talk about distribution of tribal communities in India, their population is 10.45 crore in 2011 census, and ST scheduled tribe constitutes 8.6% of country's total population and 11.3% of total rural population. If we talk about the population of scheduled tribes male, they have the 5.25 crore, and about ST females they are 5.20 crore population. If we talk about the number of groups, there are around 700 scheduled tribe communities in India that are being recorded in census 2011 census. If we talk about in how many districts they are there. If so, there are around 672 sub-districts that have been identified which have ST population greater than 50% and more than 10,000 ST population. They live in about 15% of country's areas in various ecological and geographical conditions ranging from plains, forests and forest to hills. In Himalayan regions, they are in the regions of Madhya Pradesh, they are in the regions of Bihar, Odisha and West Bengal. If we will talk about what are their proportion of ST population to total population, you will find that in Lakshadweep there are around 94.8% of population of total population are scheduled tribes. Similarly, in Mizoram it is 94.4%, Nagaland 86.5%. But if you look at the bottom 5 states, Uttar Pradesh has 0.6% of scheduled tribe population. But on the other hand, if you remember, there are around 20.7% of total population are scheduled caste also. If as you have discussed about how they are distributed in different parts of India, if you go to northeast Sikkim and Himalayas, you will find that major tribes are Naga, Kuki, Mizo, Adi, Lepcha, Bhutia, Khasi, Garo, Jayantiya, etc. If we talk about western part of India, they are Bhil, Meena, Seheria, Giris, Rebari, Dang and Worli. And Munda, Orang, Santal, Gond, Ho, Kant, Chenchu, Saura are mostly found in the central part of India. Similarly, Irola, Toda, Badaga, Paliyan, these are mostly found in the southern region of India. Similarly, Jarwa, Onge, Great, Andamanis, Sompan, Nicobaris are mostly found in the island communities, most in the Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep and in these kind of island regions. And if we talk about what are the tribal problems being faced by this group of population, the land alienation is one of the major reason, and indebtedness, bonded labor, shifting cultivation, illiteracy, health and nutrition problem. So, we will discuss these one by one. Let us discuss what are the problem related to forest. If we talk about tribal household tribal population, you will find that their economy is mostly forest based economy, and they are more dependent on the forest for their livelihood and also for their each and every kind of economic and social needs. But throughout years, government has the forest policies that are not actually adequately addressing the issues of this tribal population. But no doubt, now through different discussions, different deliberations, and good policies are coming up. But if you look at the history, starting from the British rule and till now, in the past, forest policies like the tribals were not given adequate representation, for which they are not able to get adequate economic and social livelihood from this kind of forest. On the other hand, displacement was also a major reason, because most of the industries were established in these tribal areas, and since the forest, since the industries are being set up there, so forest also got destroyed. So therefore, they face major issues in these regions. Similarly, the government did not, because their economy is mostly forest based, but they were not adequately represented in these economic policies. So therefore, improper economic policies also resulted in the major problem for the tribes. Similarly, health and nutrition is also another major issue for the tribal in the tribal region. If you look at the database, you will find that the infant mortality rate is 40.7% for the other group of population, but it is 44.8%. So, so many infant they died before they become the adult. So infant mortality rate is the major. If you look for the under 5 mortality rate, that is also very higher in case of scheduled tribe, it is 57.2% in comparison to the overall group of population. Similarly, if you look at the percentage of women aged between 15 to 49 who suffers any kind of anemia, that means they have the lesser number, they have the less blood and hemoglobin. So they are like 59.8% in case of scheduled tribes, but it is only 53.0% in case of other group population. And when you look at the underweight children, those who are under 5 years of age, the case is more in case of 45.3 in case of scheduled tribes than that other group population. As I told you, in case of scheduled caste, similar feature also found in case of scheduled tribes. On the one hand, because they are poverty stricken, so they are not able to afford to provide adequate food which has the nutrition and which have the good calories to their children and also to their mother. So poverty is the major reason for which the challenges of health and nutrition is majorly found in case of tribal population. Similarly, they don't have the lack of proper medical and sanitary facilities in the tribal areas, because if we will go to the tribal area, find that there are a lesser number of hospitals in these areas, and even they have there are hospitals, they are very far away from the tribal areas. Because if you look at many policies, you will find that that we have policies looking at the number of population. Suppose there are, and since the tribal population has the tribal population are lesser in number in a particular geographical area, so most of the medical facilities are not there. Even the government facilities are there, the doctors are also not going to those who are located in the rural area. So therefore, you will find that the cases of health and nutrition are found in case of scheduled tribe population than the urban or rural population. Similarly, if you look at the history of medicinal facilities in the urban area, in the tribal areas, earlier they have their own kind of indigenous medicine, where if they can have any kind of diseases, they use this indigenous medicine Ayurveda for their care and prevention. But since throughout years we always given importance to the allopathic medicine, not to the indigenous Ayurvedic medicine. So even they also feel that these kind of knowledge are not adequate these kind of knowledge are not going to help in for their health and nutrition. So, that is also another reason. Similarly, industrial pollution, if you look at the kind of industries are being set up in the tribal areas, so they generate number of industrial pollution, and since the pollution are high, so they are not able to cope up with this kind of industrial pollution and degradation. So, the health the challenges of health and nutrition therefore are more found in case of tribal population. Now, you can discuss about literacy and education. If you look at the database, you will still find there is a gap of around 19.1% between ST male and scheduled tribe female in literacy rate. So, as I told you, the female literacy is the indicator of development. More a female is literate, more a female is educated, so they can contribute for the economic development also, and also in the development of health and other social indicators. So, if we look at the literacy rate in 2011 census, you will find that the 59% of scheduled tribes are only literate compared to 73% in case of overall group population. Now, when we are talking about the digital literacy, so can you imagine, and more a person is digital literate, they are able to more contribute to their own development, also to the development of society, and they are also get. But now, when in case of scheduled tribes, are they more digital literate? So, that question has to be there. Similarly, if you look at the dropout rate, it is 8.86% in case of male tribe, while it is 8.90 in case of female tribe. And if you look at the secondary database, you will find that 27.41% of boys drop out and they are not able to complete 10th class of education, while it is only 26.51% of girls who are able to complete secondary level of education. So, as I told you earlier, so if the boys got drop out from school education system or the girls got drop out from the school education system, so once they drop out, on the one hand, so they are not able to get adequate income for, and they are not able to get adequate job opportunities because they drop out at an early age. So, it has, so from here you can able to figure out the poverty, literacy and unemployment linkage. So, when a person is more literate, more educated, he or she is able to get adequate job opportunity. But since these scheduled tribes are not educated in a formal school system in a proper manner, they get drop out at an early age. So, they are not getting adequate employment. So, but we cannot say that the tribals are illiterate because at some point of time they were rich in their own society, they were rich in terms of knowledge, they are rich in terms of economy, they are rich, they are able to, their economy is more self sufficient, although we cannot say that they are more affluent, but in terms of their self sufficiency they are more self sufficient because they are more dependent on their forest for their livelihood. But because we because through the implementation of modern education system always says that whatever modern education is, that is more richer, more interesting than the other kind of curriculum. So, we can say that the literacy and education gap between scheduled caste and scheduled tribe and other population has led that has made them more impoverished than the earlier age. Similarly, they also face the kind of problem related to agriculture because they become landlessness, and the jamindar also took away their land. So, they face major issues of landless in their own area. Similarly, migration is also another important problem in case of scheduled tribes because they did not get adequate income in their own land. So, they migrated to the urban areas, and when they migrate to urban areas, they do not know the language of that area, and even the jamindars, even the urban population also try to exploit them in different means. So, migration is also one important problem for the tribes. Similarly, problem identity, because earlier they have their own dance pattern, they have their own culture, they have their own music system, but and they have their own dress pattern. But But due to modern education and modern lifestyle, some of them also facing the problem identity. But now there are many young tribes, they have also come, they know their own ethnic identity, and they are striving for it there, so that their identity also get retained. So, dear learners, throughout session we have discussed about what are the problems of scheduled tribes, and hope you have enjoyed the session. And if you have any kind of doubt, you can also send an email to us at aosoci@gmail.com, and you can also you can also view the SWAYAM courses of NIOS, and if you have any doubt, please write to us so that we can be able to improve our delivery of content and also the curriculum. Thank you.
कोविड-19 यानी कोरोना वायरस देश एवं संपूर्ण विश्व में व्याप्त विषाणु जन्य समस्या। लाखों लोग इस संक्रमण की चपेट में। इसका निदान है जागरूकता के साथ हम और आप स्वयं। कोरोना वायरस के इस संक्रमण से संपूर्ण भारतवर्ष भी एक विकट स्वास्थ्य की परिस्थितियों से जूझ रहा है। भारत सरकार द्वारा गांवों से शहरों तक व्यापक जांच, उपचार और विभिन्न नैदानिक व्यवस्थाएं की गई हैं, लेकिन अभी हमें करना है इससे बचाव। बचाव है आपस में 2 गज की दूरी रखें, मास्क जरूर लगाएं, हाथों को बार-बार साबुन से धोएं और हाँ, आरोग्य सेतु ऐप पर लॉगिन अवश्य करें। घर पर रहें और NIOS की स्व अध्ययन सामग्री से पढ़ते रहें। आपके लिए PM ई-विद्या पर टीवी, रेडियो वाहिनी और मुक्त विद्या वाणी पर ऑडियो कार्यक्रमों का प्रसारण भी NIOS द्वारा किया जा रहा है। आपसे एक ही अनुरोध है, जब भी छींकें, मुंह और नाक को ढकना ना भूलें, भीड़ भाड़ में जाने से बचें और सामाजिक दूरी का पालन करें। और एक बात, जब तक वैक्सीन नहीं आती तब तक मास्क को ही वैक्सीन समझें। साफ रहें, स्वच्छ रहें और स्वस्थ रहें। 2 गज दूरी, मास्क है जरूरी। किसी भी आपदा की स्थिति में संपर्क करें टोल फ्री नंबर 1075 011 23978046। ईमेल करें ncov2019@gov.in।